Hello, this is Marek and I would like to introduce you a new component which is called mustGether REST wrapper. It aims to provide OpenShift mustGether functionality via HTTP API. Its use case can be to provide a backend for the UI of OpenShift itself, forklift or whatever other component to execute mustGether via HTTP or JSON API. Technically, it's the Gingonic based application or very small API service. It provides several API endpoints, which I will walk through them. So first one is post to mustGether, which triggers the new execution of mustGether. It accepts parameters similar to mustGether from command line. Once the mustGether is running, the ID and the all object is returned, so it can be queried to see its details. In order to download the archive with the data, there is the endpoint mustgether/id/data, which sends a file with the archive of mustGether once the mustGether has finished. Based on the OpenShift mustGether itself, there are parameters which are passed to the OC mustGether command. Also, configuration of this API service can be done via environment variable, which can set like basic things as port, DB, backend, or default images or timeout, which are passed to the OpenShift itself. Now, I think we can go to the terminal and see it live. So first, I have a terminal with OpenShift login, which has been already done, and now running the wrapper. It seems it has started, so let's trigger mustGether. So it's post request JSON saying that I want image QI/IO mouthfart forklift mustGether with timeout 17 minutes. And what has been returned? JSON with ID, which is maybe most important at this moment, and with the status, which is new. I will show what is the status now. So querying the mustGether execution number 3. Status is in progress, so the execution it's running currently. Parameters as the image and the timeout has been passed to the backend. Now I will switch back to the log of the API service. We can see that there is the post request on creating mustGether, starting execution, and for the debugging purposes, it logs command of OC ADM mustGether, which has been executed. The parameters there are partially from user, except the destination there, which has been added by the wrapper service because it's created for storing the result archive and should serve as the place when the result files should be stored and then sent to user. As mentioned before, this wrapper can be configured with environment variables, which hasn't been used in that case. So there is a default database cleanup function, which should delete all mustGether archives and which can be quite big, has been disabled just for this demo. Maybe it's worth mentioning that I use GORM, which is a framework for database, so there is SQLite on backend. For me, it looked most reasonable. Even also some, let's say, in-memory data structure would work too. This seems quite scalable later. So, for example, if we decide that the database should be persistent or just don't have to be persistent, it's just changing of parameters of existing project. But I'm happy to see to hear any possible feedback on this. So let's look back to the mustGether status. It's still in progress. Actually, it takes the same time or nearly same time as when it's executed locally from command line. So we might need, let's say, a few minutes. Speaking about its usage, also its UI, for example, can pull for the updates of the MassGetter every 5 or 10 seconds and actually wait until the status here has changed from progress to complete or error. So hopefully more often complete than error. And once the status is incomplete, then the archive file with the data is available. But it seems that we need to wait slightly more. It also depends on the local internet connection. In log we can see that MassGetter execution number 3 has finished. So let's look to the API. Yeah, there is plenty of text. It actually belongs to exec output, which is output standard and also error of the OC execution. It's not aimed to like primarily show to user, but to be able to provide this information via API in case of some errors or some necessity for debugging, just to show what result has been there. Status has been completed. That means that the archive is ready, so it can be downloaded with /data. I will specify massgetter.targzip. There is used attach file technique. So from the browser, for example, the name has been is predefined by the wrapper. So file is downloaded. Let's look there what is inside. Yeah, looks that it's a reasonable MassGetter archive with some CRs and so on. So seems to be working fine. I would like to get any possible feedback on this regarding to its parameters, project structure, whatever. I'm happy to update it as necessary. So thank you for now and see you later.